It's so tricky, this business. It's so important to remember that we are actors, even on the days that no one is paying us to be actors. And, it's so easy to say, who am I if I'm not on stage or filming something? But the thing is, we are actors every day, and we work towards that every day.
Welcome to Inside the Audition, the podcast where we go behind the scenes for a deep dive look into the world of auditions. I'm Joe Lars Larson, creator of Actors Audition Club, an international community helping actors book your dream roles in TV, film, and theater.
And I'm Brandon Knox, actor, producer, and co-host. Each episode, we chat with actors and industry professionals to share their audition experiences, insights, and advice.
We provide actors with actionable tips, strategies, and resources to help you elevate your auditions.
We demystify the often intimidating and misunderstood world of auditions to help you succeed.
So whether you're just starting out on your acting journey or you're a seasoned pro, join our Actors Audition Club members as we go
Inside the Audition.
Look who it is, Brandon Knox. I recognize you.
From TV and such, or from the studio?
From television and film, and also from a podcast that I've been a part of for 125 episodes.
Oh,
yeah, must be podcast day. Is it podcast day?
I think it's podcast day.
Must be podcast day. Welcome, everyone. This is episode 125. We got a humdinger. We got a doozy today. We got a lot of stuff going on here at the studio. And I think we should let people know this is a big day. You want to let them know the big day?
I think you should, Lars. Let them know.
This is a big day. Not only is your guest fantastic, which we're going to get to in a minute, but we have opened the doors. Early bird enrollment to Actors Audition Club 2023 is now open, which means you can join our community, our group of actors helping other actors rehearse and record and shoot professional auditions without stress, without bugging family, without having to worry about tech troubles, so that you can elevate your performance and book more roles in TV, film, and theater, and ultimately book your dream role. And to get started today as an early bird member, go to laughingvikings.com/AAC. That's laughingvikings.com/AAC. And a little early birdie told me that there's an early birdie bonus of a free audition session when you enroll before midnight tonight. So go to laughingvikings.com/AAC, and that bonus is going to get you a free audition session where you can connect with one of our session directors, either virtually over Zoom, or if you're in Toronto, in our Toronto studio, and we'll help you rehearse and record and shoot, and ultimately submit a professional tape that you, your agent, and casting is going to love. So you can go to laughingvikings.com/AAC to do that. We've got the doors open all week long until Saturday at midnight, Saturday, February 4th. But today's the day where you can get that early bird bonus where you get a free audition session. And we'll take a second, Brandon. Let's just pull up that website, and we'll just give a quick recap of what enrolling means.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there it is right there. Yeah, you can make a big screen if you're able to. There you go. All right. So when you enroll, if you're looking to up-level your auditions and elevate your auditions, if you're a person who's having any struggle and frustrations, basically if your audition process is not super fun and you don't love auditions, then this is the place to be. So you get access to our monthly live audition workshops and meetups, where we connect with people around the world to talk with you about your audition struggles and obstacles and challenges. You can hop on Q&As with us, where we share resources and share tools and tricks and tips to help support each other. Also online, we're adding videos every week to our Audition Hero Academy video series, where we take clips from this podcast, clips from workshops, and we're building a big, giant online archive of videos. And one of my favorite things, is the private members community. We've got members all across the world. So you're going to meet one of our international members today on the podcast. So that private members community is a spot where you can share victories, you can share struggles, you can share resources, tips, tools, everything that you need, just so that you have, I find, and I'm sure many actors watching and listening can find that this can be a real lone wolf career if you don't build a community. Obviously, when you're in a show or when you're in a play, you have your castmates. But in between all that, you can feel like you're in this alone. And that's not a great feeling. So to help you build that community, we've got that here at Actors Audition Club. And all of our members are able to book self-tape audition sessions with our professional trained session directors. You can book those 7 days a week, and the membership rates are a little more than 30% off. You can do that virtually or in studio, so that anytime you need help with an audition, we all know that bugging family members and friends, or if every time you get an audition, you have to wonder when you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, who you're going to bug to help you, that can be very frustrating. And it can also be very anxiety riddled to be wondering how you're going to get it done every time. So basically you have your on-demand audition concierge here, where one of our audition session directors will hop on a Zoom with you pretty much 7 days a week, usually 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Although some of our session directors they're willing to meet you at 3 a.m. in the morning for a last minute one via Zoom. So in order to get enrolled, again, today is the early bird enrollment, open till midnight tonight. You can scroll down to the bonuses too there, Brandon, if you like. If you enroll today before midnight, you're going to get a free audition session with your enrollment. Brandon's going to show some of the bonuses here. There you're at. Can we slide that just a little this way so we see those words? There you go. So get enrolled today before midnight. You're going to get that free audition session so that you can get started the right way, so that literally your next audition request that you get from your agent, you can connect with one of us and we'll help you make that audition a stronger audition, a stronger performance. We also, if you want to scroll down here, we put together a home studio buyer's guide. Some of you, if you haven't quite set up your own home professional studio, which we advise every actor has one these days, if you need a little help with that, we put together some product recommendations, some things that we use here in our studio, backdrops, laptop stands, some books, some resources that'll help you with your audition. So if you're like, I don't even know about auditions, I don't have a home studio, I don't know how to do this, we can help you with that. We're also putting together an online virtual masterclass to help you improve your relationship with a current agent, or if you're currently unrepresented and you're looking for some help and some strategies on how to approach an agent, or even if you're just wondering, like, what does an agent even need to know about me? What are the materials I need to put together? We're put together a little class to help people do that. And that's for people with agents or without agents. If you've got an agent right now and maybe you're thinking that you can improve that relationship, it's obviously a symbiotic thing. You want a real strong partnership. So we can talk about that on that masterclass as well. Bonus number 3 is we put together a nice little audition checklists. As you know, professionals in any industry, whether it's an airline pilot or a surgeon, they follow a checklist, a professional sequence that they go through, so that you're not just winging it every time you got an audition. Sometimes you might be really thorough. Other times you're just slapping an audition together really last minute. But ideally, if you want to be a professional, the second you get that audition from your agent, you just flip into pro mode and you go through this checklist to do everything you need to do to make it as strong and professional as possible. So we'll link you up with that document. And you hear us talk about it every week, but Tom Todoroff's classes, we'll send you a link where you can audit a free class. Their workshops are on Saturdays and on Mondays now. So you can audit a free class with Tom. It's really 3 classes in one. You get voice and speech class. You also get some text analysis, and you get scene study, monologue study, coaching with Tom himself for 3-4 hours. I guess the whole workshop's about 5 hours on a Saturday or on a Monday. So we'll hook you up with a free class there. And Brandon can speak to this one too. We've got a great setup with a friend of the studio through Wicked Tree Creative. Adam Barnicki is a fantastic director and editor, and he's helped many of our members and clients put together demo reels, including myself, including Brandon. And he's got a package where he'll give you $150 off his standard rates for his demo reel, and he'll help you put together a nice tight demo reel with all of your current footage. And the cool thing that he does, which I don't know that a lot of other people do, is anytime within a year of getting your demo reel done through Wicked Tree, if you get new footage, he'll just swap that in, and he can make little snippets and edits for you as you get it. A lot of times people wait to do their demo reels because they're like, oh, I just did this really cool show. I'm going to wait till it comes out, and then I'm going to add that to my demo reel. And in the meantime, those 6 months pass where you don't have a demo reel to show casting directors or future agents or production people. So that's the cool thing. You can get started right now with Actors Audition Club. You get $150 off the demo reel package, and then add them anytime in that year. When you book something new, send them the new footage, and he'll just take out your old crappy footage and swap in the new gold that you got.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's probably not crappy footage, but as you do more things, you take your old footage out and you replace it. We should also mention too, when you do get enrolled, we've got a 30-day money back guarantee. So you get enrolled and you come to our community and start running sessions with us, and you realize that this isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe you're like, I do not like this Lars guy, this branding guy, not for me. You can just let us know. And so there's no risk to do it. You can hop on board. We've got that 30-day money back guarantee. If you don't think that this is fantastic, then we don't want to be working with you. It doesn't make sense. So, so you can, and if you also, I should just mention too, if you have any questions as well, you can go to laughingvikings.com/AAC and you get all the details on the membership. But if you've got any questions where you want to hop on a call with us and have a conversation, just make sure this is the right fit. If there's specific questions that you have, or you can email lol@laughingvikings.com, and we'll be happy to answer those questions for you, or hop on a Zoom call and answer those questions. But today is the early bird enrollment. Get enrolled today. You're also going to get that early bird bonus of a free audition session, so we can help you out with the next one. And more exciting than all of that, if you can believe there's anything more exciting than early bird bonus day, our guest today is fantastic. Are you ready for this guest?
Oh, I'm very ready for this. I'm
Right.
very excited.
Let's get into it. Now, I wanted to go through her entire IMDb and her resume, but that would have taken the entire episode. So I'm going to give you some of the highlights here. Our guest today, she's currently appearing as Jenny Salmon in 10% on Amazon. You can see her in The Kingsman on Disney+. You can see her as American socialite Peggy Blinky Douglas in The Crown, which is season 3, episodes 1 and 2 on Netflix. You can see her as Mrs. Jean Cabot in Rebecca on Netflix. Recently on stage, she's also appeared in the West End production in London of Bonnie and Clyde as Cumie Barrow, Governor Ferguson, and Eleanor. And recently she was in Eureka Day at the Old Vic. She was the understudy for the lead for Helen Hunt. And she also might have played another role in that too. I'm not sure, but we're going to talk more about that. We love her. She's a classmate of ours in Tom Todoroff's class. She's also our first international member of Actors Audition Club. She enrolled, I think it's been about a year now. She enrolled. She's coming to us from across the pond in the UK. Everybody welcome Pippa Winslow.
Woo!
There she is. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We're pumped to talk to you today.
What an amazing introduction. Loved it.
Well, you're a powerhouse. Like I said, I could have gone through the whole resume here, but that would have been the whole show. We want to get to talking to you. Yeah, we love you, Pippa. We met first in class, and seeing your work in class, I was all like, Brandon could speak to this too. We're always impressed. We're like, wow, this woman is a powerhouse.
Oh,
so it's no doubt, it's no surprise to see all your success over your entire career and also recently here with these huge projects. I never thought I would say this, but when I first heard of The Crown, I'm like, The Crown to me is like Downton Abbey type shows. I always felt like they were like hoity-toity and that British thing. And then I watched it, and I've watched all of it, and I was hooked on it. I loved every minute of it. I loved the casting, the show itself, like the cinematography of it was just beautiful. Every shot is beautiful. So I might fangirl out a little bit that you're that you played in The Crown. So, but before we do that, our first segment here, we do like to do a little something called the 1 minute life story. Brandon is going to throw a stopwatch up on the screen there for you. Everyone's favorite part of the show, I can tell. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Inside the Auditions 1 minute life story. Pippa Winslow, go.
So I was born in New York, moved to Santa Barbara, moved to New Jersey, moved back to California, went to drama school in California too, actually, moved to New York, started working as a professional actor, did a lot of tours, met my husband who lived in Houston, Texas, and then we were transferred to the UK. So I stopped because I had a couple of lovely little babies to take care of. And after about 10 to 15 years, depending on how you define it, I started working again. And gosh, that's only 30 seconds, but that's kind of my whole life already.
You got 25 more seconds. Fill it with
right.
something.
So let's see. This morning, let's see. I've been back in the business for a little more than 10 years, and it was tricky trying to get started, but yeah, things are rolling now. So I'm very, very happy and enjoying my career and my life.
Boom, boom, boom.
Ding, 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 ding. That was Pippa Winslow's 1 minute life story. You were very efficient. You got through it all in 35 seconds. Yeah. Amazing. Well, as you may know, this podcast, we recently rebranded it to Inside the Audition to just focus it a little bit more on all things auditions. So the first question we have for you is, what was your first professional booking?
I started as a dancer, actually. I was a dancer in Disneyland when I was just old enough barely to work. And then I started from there. Professionally, I started working in musical theater around in the Southern California area. I didn't actually start doing screen work until I came back to work having children. So let's see, what was my first professional screen job? Actually, The Crown was one of my first.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was remarkable. I mean, I was already taking, I had done some short films and lots. I mean, they say this is a great way to get into the industry is you do student films and you do, films for friends and favors and stuff like that, just so you can get a reel together. And I was taking all kinds of classes. And yeah, how did they find me? Well, because it was very specifically, I needed to be American. And so being in a smaller community of Americans in the UK market, my name will come up. So it doesn't have to be, who you know and how many credits you have. I'm a very niche actress in the UK market. So yeah, I looked like the woman that I needed to play, which is important for The Crown. So that helped me out. And I met the casting director. It's Nina Gold's office, but Kate Bone is kind of in charge of The Crown, and she is she is so beautiful to be able to audition for. She's so giving and relaxed, and you come into the room and chats, and just everything is just to make you feel relaxed so you can do your best work. And we talked about who the character was. She's a historical figure, but the importance of the character, it was 3 weeks work, but it is a small role. But she is just to serve Princess Margaret, to establish Princess Margaret and where Princess Margaret was in this point in her life. So you have to serve the project as roles like this. And, Kate helped me through all that, and we kind of improvised a little bit. And yeah, it was just lovely. And then a couple weeks later, I didn't hear a thing, no recall, no callbacks, nothing like that. And then a couple weeks later, my agent said, yeah, you booked the gig. And it was amazing. It was 2 weeks in the London area. And then they took me to Spain for a week and got to stay in a nice hotel and got lovely food. And we went to see flamenco one night. And yeah, it was fantastic. And working with these people was amazing. You see these huge stars and you think, you think you're apart from them. But the very first day, me, the man that was playing my husband, Alan Gill, brilliant actor, we sat down waiting for our scene to be filmed in our little area with Helena Bonham Carter. And right, after the hello, how are you? She said, so tell me what, after I said I have a husband, she goes, so tell me what attracted you to your husband. I was like, oh, okay, we're going right there. All right. So she just was really interested in having like a lovely conversation and getting to know each other. Because we hung out together kind of while this whole filming was going on. And Ben Daniels was gorgeous. And even one day, I didn't film any scenes with Olivia Colman and Tobias Mendes, but one day we were at the buffet for the lunch, and they were there. We introduced ourselves, and they said, "Oh, it's so lovely to me." So overall, it was definitely a highlight of my acting career.
I mean, it's becoming a highlight of my acting career just talking to you about this right now. I love that. And I mean, if anyone who hasn't seen The Crown, I would highly recommend it. The acting chops, like the cast on that, if you just scroll through IMDb, it's like, oh my God, just titans of the industry, and tons of people with a ton of theater background in their history too, which is telling. I think that's where often the best actors come from. That's amazing. Anything else you want to share about your days on set?
Oh gosh. Yeah. Going back to just something you just said about the theater background, I think that is becoming embraced more readily, but because The Crown is made in the UK, the great thing about being an actor in London is you get to do everything. When I was working in the States, it was definitely a choice. My master's was at ACT up in San Francisco. And part of that was they took us on a showcase to New York and a showcase to LA. And even just by we did our showcase, I got an opportunity to meet some agents and casting directors. And you could tell just by the questions I was asked in LA, there's just such a different, or at least there was, this is 30 years ago now, but there was just such a different sequence of questions. What was important to people in LA and what was important to the agents and casting directors in New York helped me say, I want to move to New York. These are more my people. And I think in London, they're already there. Everyone respects theater. Everyone respects screen work, and everyone does everything. And I think you can see how the skill sets really do serve both so much. So in my training, I am working to do as much training in stage as I am in screen, and making sure that they all still work. It's just a matter of knowing how big your room is, basically. I think that's really the main difference. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. These days they say, how many TikTok followers do you have?
That's a whole nother thing. Anyway.
I would also just like to point out for all of our Totteroff viewers, listeners, that Pippa started to say the word trying, which is a swear word in our class. To try is a lie, and then you cry and then you die.
Makes you want to cry.
And Tom always says, Nike never said, just try it.
Yeah. It's true. When you really embrace the words that you say, it isn't trying. It is something I am working towards. It's not like something I'm like, yeah, I'll try that. It's definitely
dipping
my
a
work.
toe into the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think of that anytime, and often Tom uses this as an example, is if you invite someone to a party, like, hey, you want to get together next week? And they say, yeah, I'll try to make it. Like you just, in my head, I'm like, not coming. I mean, you're going to try to make it. You're going to start walking and then not be able to get here, or you're going to start to call the Uber and not be able to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. We got another question here, and I know you just talked about your Crown audition, but is there another memorable audition story that you can share? And this could be positive, or it could be one of those like, what am I doing? Where am I? I chose this. What has happened to my life type stories, but just something memorable.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of a recent one because it was Eureka Day. So Eureka Day, I was Helen Hunt's understudy, but she was going away for a week. So I did get to do the role for a week. So I think they were a little, they knew that they had to be careful. I've understudied a lot of people, but you're not guaranteed performances. So they still want to be sure that you're going to be able to cover the role. But when they know you have to be on the website as the person that will be playing the role for that week, they know that they want to, anyway, So in the audition, they gave me 10, 11 pages of very much dialogue heavy stuff. But as a theater audition, for screen auditions, you learn it and you're cold on it. But for theater auditions, it's completely acceptable to be able to read it. But there was something about that material, even though I was reasonably cold on it the first time I did it, the material was so good. It got me caught up in it, even when I was just kind of reading it. You know what I'm saying? It's just still, there's a moment where she talks about her child that even just thinking about it now, it just gets me choked up. And it's just, it was just I really enjoyed the audition, and I felt very fortunate that they chose me for the role because it was such a good role.
Yeah. That sounds like in class, Tom will mention about let the part play you, or take the trip of the text. And when it's really good writing, it's just you can't help but be there and be in it and be that person under those circumstances. And I can appreciate that too. That's a different, to be an understudy knowing that your week is coming up. That's got to be quite the cool thing too, especially when you're telling family and friends, like, are you going to play? Are you not going to play? But to be able to say, yeah, this is the week, baby. This is me. Yeah.
And another great thing, it was one of the first weeks. So they were still in rehearsals during the day. So I got to create with the main cast, which were amazing actors, people that, Mark McKinley from Kids in the Hall, that's Canadian. I mean, I was a huge fan of that when I was a kid, not a kid.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
Squeeze your head. So when he was playing one of the other roles, and so it's like, it's hard not to fangirl.
Right.
These people.
Yeah. I crush you. I crush you.
Squeeze your head. Yeah. So, So the whole cast was amazing, and just so, I was just like another person in the cast. I wasn't like, of a lower status in any way. And one day we were just sitting in rehearsals, and they're like, oh gosh, well, at the Oscars when we did that, and then at the Emmys and the food, and then that guy, that guy, and they were all like sharing these like Emmy stories, and I'm like, It was very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. And again, so you may have touched on this a little bit with your Crown experience, but any other unforgettable on-set experiences? If you want to elaborate more on one of your Crown days or anything else that you've shot.
There's so many amazingly wonderful things about all of them. Kingsman, really, really tiny role, but it was working with Stanley Tucci and Ralph Fiennes, and they were both so gorgeous. And I just show up to do my little part. I'm Stanley Tucci's secretary, and so I'm just sitting there at my typewriter, and Rafe needed to ask a question, and so he said, well, when this lovely lady does like a lovely lady, he just called me a lovely lady.
just
so
melted.
Yeah, it was...
They're like, where'd the actor go? There's just a puddle on her chair. She just melted. Yeah.
And there is a bit where they didn't use it, but where he crosses into the room, and while he crosses, he's very close to me, and I look at him and I give him a stern look because he just possibly murdered someone, and so it was so great.
That's awesome. It's always nice to hear too. That whole thing, like never meet your heroes and stuff, but it's nice that your experiences have been they're real human beings, real people, not high and mighty or thinking that they're separate from other people, which is, I think these days much more common than the other. Like in a day of transparency and social media, being an asshole is like, that just gets out to the world much faster now. So it's cool that you've had positive experiences with everybody.
Yeah, really positive experiences. Yeah.
Yes. So, given that this is inside the audition, can you take us behind the scenes into your own audition process and just walk us from your agent sends you the email saying, here's the breakdown, here's the script, to the time that you lay it down in a self-tape or live in the room?
Everything's self-tape first round now, isn't it? Yeah. The first thing I do is I take the script and I retype it in my own format, because I have a certain format that I like to see it in. And I keep the stage directions on there, but I make them 8 font and I make my words all 14. So I can reference them, but I don't see them. And then if I have a day or two to look at this, then I will put it away and then I will look at it right before I go to sleep so that I can dream about it. If it's a big script and I don't have much time to learn it, then I don't know if this is a good habit or a bad habit, but I will put it on a tape and I will just listen to it in a loop. And it's just kind of like, I'm generally a visual learner, but I think there is part of me that also is an oral learner as well. And so just having that, and I'm not really learning it, but then when I turn the tape off and I go back, there's something about, I'm able to connect to the words. I'm able to make sense of them quicker, it seems. So then I get to the part where I go through each line. I break it down. This is Tom's technique, where you break it down. You say, what am I fighting for? Who am I talking to? What's my relationship to everything in this? And then you start looking for all the extras. Where's the humor? Where are the opposites? Where am I playing games and all this sort of thing? You guys know what I'm talking about, but and then where's the architecture of the scene? And I go through and I do all those tick boxes that I think Tom covers so beautifully. It just makes it so logical. And then let's just do this and this and this and this. And by the time I finish that, with the listening, with the learning, just looking at the lines before I go to sleep, and then with breaking it down, generally I've got it memorized. So then I bring it up and I did an amazing audition with Brandon, and that was so great being able to work that with you, Brandon, and that I absolutely love that. Mm-hmm. But generally, most of my auditions are for smaller roles that I can put together without having somebody read in with me, because what I do is and I've already told you this once and you just laugh at me, but I memorize both lines and then I say their lines in my head and then I do a voiceover add-on later, which is not everybody likes that, but generally I've done thousands of self-tapes, so I'm good at it now. So that's just something I do. So anyway, I tape the lines up under my camera, set everything up on my tripod. I've got my backdrop. I've got my soft boxes I've got here. Just click everything on, and then I go through it. Then I listen to it. I know some people hate to listen to their recordings, but I listen to it. I watch it. I circle the words I got wrong, and then I do it a couple more times, and then usually I send it off like that. I try not to do it too many times, because then or if I need to do it more, then I go away for a bit, let it rest, because otherwise it gets kind of, it gets frustrating, and then you're not able to do your best work. We lost Brandon.
I think he's coming back. He had a cough or sneeze.
Was it something I said?
No, never.
I'm out of here.
So yeah, that's generally my process. Yeah.
Cool. I mentioned it earlier when talking about getting enrolled for Actors Audition Club, just the importance of following a checklist. But it sounds like from the time you get it to the time you tape it, you're pretty much into audition protocol and you're following a a certain process pretty much every time, so it's familiar to you, and you're not doing it different every single time. You got your system that works for you.
Yeah, I do practice self-tapes every day, so that when I get an audition in, it's just, I don't have to think about it. It's like, you know, you can think about the character, you can think about what the journey is. You don't have to think about the technical stuff, which is great.
Question about you mentioned recording the lines. Are you recording just your lines, or are you recording all the lines in the scene and hearing both of them?
Oh, when I'm just learning, I record everybody's lines.
Gotcha.
So I listen to their lines and I listen to my lines. Yeah.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Brandon.
Is there a reason that you type it up on a computer rather than write it out when you're retyping it?
Yeah, I don't write very much, but I've heard that when you do write, your brain takes it in better. So
I mean, I think it sort of depends on the person, and I prefer writing it out just like handwritten, but like it's all sort of dependent on you, and I'm just curious as to why you prefer that.
I'm just a really fast typer.
Fair.
When I take notes in Tom's class, I can almost type as fast as people talk, which is great. So yeah, I'm fast. So writing just takes too long. But having said that, writing the lines out would probably be better, because that gives more time to actually bring the words in. But yeah.
Pippa, can you speak a little bit about, you mentioned stage directions, you make them smaller. Can you just explain, I think Brandon and I know why in being in classes with Tom, but can you talk a little bit about why you might set the stage directions aside a little bit as compared to the lines?
There's a few reasons. First of all, some writers want to be sure that you understand what's going on. They'll say things like, says angrily. It's like they want to help, but things like that don't really help, because that might not be how I'm deciding to fight this fight. So that's one reason. The second reason is because this might be part of a script that is going to be done very differently in the studio or on location, whereas I'm in my little self-tape box and I need to ignore the fact that I'm supposed to be playing tennis. I might physically, go with the energy that I would need or the breath control that I would have playing tennis, but I won't be playing tennis in my little self-tape box. So for that reason, I get rid of those. So anytime I make any choices, I want to make the choices based on what I'm saying and what I'm fighting for, and not what somebody else has told me needs to happen. But I keep them there. I don't just delete them altogether, because after I've worked with the text for a little while, then I'll go back and I'll read the stage directions and I'll say, did I miss any clues? Like yesterday, I had a class. There were a lot of stage directions. So I made them all tiny. I worked on the script, and then I went through and read for clues. And there were a couple little clues in there that then I was able to bring on to enhance my performance. But it was great that I had worked just with the text to start with.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Often too, the other thing is if it's a theater script, often those stage directions are from the first performance, how they had things blocked, so it might not apply. Exactly. And then the other thing that I think it helps with is your just spontaneity and keeping it fresh. Like some actors will see that and they're like, oh, this is the spot where I have to raise my eyebrow, or this is where I have the deep exhale, or this is where I stand up and this is where I sit down.
Yeah. And
Tom mentions this as well, as if they're seeing 50 to 100 people for this, and the production team or casting already knows, they know the lines and they know the scene. So if they're getting ahead of you, okay, this is where she's going to stand up, and this is where she's going to cry, and this is where she's going to sit back down, then there's no real life spontaneity to that. So that it's actually a simple way that you can separate your auditions from other people's is by, I don't want to say ignoring stage directions, but not putting stage directions above you as the actor and as the character and above the story, where it's, well, it says I got to sit here, so I got to sit. It's like, well, okay, well, on the day
the
when
worst
you shoot
one
it, you might
is
not sit.
the worst one is cries.
Right.
It's just like
Right.
that, because if you read that and say, oh, cries, has to cry, you can get so frustrated trying to cry that you're never able to cry. So
Right. Yeah. And in real life, no one ever is trying to cry.
Exactly.
Everyone's trying
not to cry.
to not cry.
Fighting crying.
Fighting crying. Yeah. That's brilliant. Yeah, it's funny though. A lot of people will feel like that is like the number one, like I've known people, and maybe I've been there at some point in my career where I was like, oh, I'm failing this scene because I'm not getting to the point where I need to cry. I'm not doing what they want me to do here, which is definitely a trap in some scenes.
100%.
Yeah. Yes. All right. What's next, Brandon?
Pippa, let's look forward a little bit. Now we really like to put things out into the universe, and so our next question for you is, what is your dream project / role?
Dream project.
We're gonna manifest it right here.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm working one step before that. My dream project is to be a lead on procedural drama as a head of CIA, head of FBI,
nice, head
of MI5, although trickier with an American accent. So what I am definitely working on right now is I'm doing a show. It's going to last right now. I am actually started rehearsals for a show that finishes on the 20th of May. And by then I want to have been in a series of auditions for a recurring supporting role in a series. And I am getting close to that. I have had a couple of really good auditions come through last year. So I know that is the next step, but I know I am able to get there. So I want to do that. And then so people trust me more and more and more and know that I can handle a show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, mm-hmm. I could see that.
Yeah, you could be an American transfer into the
exactly.
British CIA or whatever they have.
Right. Quick question, Pippa. When you're in, you live in and around London, is that right?
Yeah.
When you're there, do you have U.S. representation? Like, are you getting things from L.A. and New York while you're there, or are you mostly working on things that are casting just in the U.K. right now?
I'm just working on U.K., and that is something that I am considering looking into representation in, because I have family still in the Southern California area. I used to live just outside of New York, so I have places to live in New York as well. So I could have agents in all three, but I'm busy. So, I'm already working a lot here.
Right.
So it would be, would I be willing to just kind of head back to Southern California for 3 months? I'd be missing out on jobs here. So I don't know. My agent did go to LA in November or October. So he is reaching out and he has connections in LA. So things are connected. He could probably represent me for the things that people need me for. And the projects that are the exciting ones that I have been brought in for, they are US projects that are filming in the UK. So they'll cast me here.
Right.
There's no need to have somebody submit me for them in the US. So yeah.
Cool. And there's so many British actors that do the American accent as well. Like it just seems plausible that there's an American. All right, perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. And there is a trend. I don't know about where you guys are at, but in the UK, they are definitely looking for authenticity with accents.
Right.
Which is great for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mentioned a show that you're part of, or
yes, it just started rehearsals, and they've just announced the cast, so I can say it again. So I can say it. So it's Bonnie and Clyde again. I did it last year. It was like the West End premiere of the show, but it was in a lovely theater, but a very small theater, in the smallest, I think, theater in the West End. And so we're transferring to a larger theater in the West End, the Garrick Theater, which is part of the NYMAX Theaters, which is a lovely theater, and we're thrilled. So we've just started, actually this week we're rehearsing for the cast album, which we record next week, and then we start rehearsals properly for the show, and we open on the 4th of March. So I'm very excited about that.
Congrats. Yeah. And that's a musical?
It's a musical. And yes, I sing and dance in the chorus numbers, but my character is a acting role. I don't have any solo songs. Gotcha. I play Clyde Barrow's mother, Kumi, and I play the governor of Texas, who was a real historical figure, the first female governor, I believe, of Texas. So yeah, Miriam Ferguson.
Cool. So really you're reprising your original roles, yeah?
I am. There was one role that I played in the original last year named Eleanor, who was a woman in a beauty parlor, but they've expanded the cast now. So somebody else will be playing Eleanor, and I'll just get to concentrate on these other 2 roles, which were my favorites anyway. So
amazing. Is the bulk of the cast returning?
The bulk of the cast is returning. There are a couple that are not, because they have other cool jobs. One is in Newsies now, one is in Matilda, one is in Jersey Boys. So yeah, those, they're very happy. They have long-running contracts. They're making lots of money, so they're very happy. But we miss them terribly. But we have amazing new people joining us. So yeah.
Amazing, congrats!
Thank you.
We would like to know if what advice would you give to your past artist actor self, or to someone new coming up right now?
Yeah, a couple of things. It's so tricky, this business. It's so important to remember that we are actors, even on the days that no one is paying us to be actors. And it's so easy to say, who am I if I'm not on stage or filming something? But the thing is, we are actors every day, and we work towards that every day. Another thing along those same lines is trust and patience. Keep working forwards and trust that I am moving forward, because I am, even though it doesn't seem like it every day. Things are moving forward, and it's a long haul. It's not a sprint. So have patience. So those are the main things that I remind myself of every day.
Love that.
Do you have those sayings up in your audition room?
I should do. Yeah, no, there's too much in my audition.
The poster of the cat on a wire saying, "Hang in there."
Hang in there. Exactly. That's it. 100%.
Brandon, any other final questions?
No. Thank you so much for joining us today, Pippa.
Oh,
it was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. It's brilliant being able to chat.
Thank you for sharing your expertise and your advice and your experience. You're inspiring to us.
Mm-hmm.
We love that. We love seeing you in class. We love that you're having some great successes right now. So
thank you.
Know that you've got friends and fans here in North America and Canada at any time. So
amazing.
We're rooting for you, and thank you for being a part of the show here too.
And
thank you for being a part of Actors Audition Club. You were the first international member of Actors Audition Club. We've added, we now have a member in Portugal as well, João Pinho, who's also went through Totteroff Conservatory.
I remember him from Tom's, yeah.
We are expanding across the globe, so it's great to be a part of things with you.
Yay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We'll see you in Tom's.
Yes. Well, thank you, listeners, viewers, for checking out Pippa Winslow. Maybe let's just so it's there, let's drop her the link to her demo reel. Sadly, we can't play the demo reel on the podcast because it gets flagged for copyright issues, but we can.
You can find everything me on my website at pippawinslow.com. So that's
you want to put that in there, Brandon? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I was going to ask, what's the best place for people to connect with you? Yeah, because
that's my demo reel. I mean, you can get to my UK Spotlight link. That's our, how we get auditions. You can get my Actors Access if you're not in the UK, you know, all that stuff is all on there. Plus just news about what I'm up to now and lots of little clips and things.
Subscribe to your fan club. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you, everyone. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're watching. And reminder that today, up until midnight, if you're watching this live, our Actors Audition Club early bird enrollment is open. Just go to laughingvikings.com/AAC and you can join our incredible audition community here. And I think that's about that. Yeah. Episode 125 in the can. Thank you so much, Pippa. You're amazing. We love you.
Thank you. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.